Hello guys, I welcome you all to the video tutorial of Snowflake. In this tutorial I am going to explain you about what is Snowflake, why Snowflake, Snowflake Architecture, zero copy clones, data sharing, time travel, Snowflake Web Interface.
What is Snowflake? Snowflake is a cloud-based data warehouse which is provided as software as a service. So this is a cloud-based. This is a data cloud which is powered by an advanced data platform provided as software as a service. Snowflake enables data storage, processing, and analytic solutions that are faster, easier to use, and far more flexible than traditional offerings. It allows corporate users to store and analyze data using cloud-based and hardware and using cloud-based hardware and software. It runs on a third-party tool. Snowflake is not as I mentioned, Snowflake is a software as a service. So Snowflake does not have its own storage. Whatever the storage that Snowflake offers, it is provided on some third-party tool that it runs on Amazon S3, Microsoft Azure, and on Google Cloud Platform. Since 2019, Snowflake came most widely used data tool all over the world. Snowflake is a fully managed service, so it can be used for data warehousing, data lakes, data engineering, data analytics, data science, data application development, and for securely sharing and consuming shared data. One cool feature of the Snowflake is it supports nearly unlimited of concurrent workloads. So your users can always do what they need to do, and they need to do it. So, as I said, Snowflake is a cloud-based tool that is completely based on cloud, and you not need to install anything. You can log in from anywhere. What you just need is you just need an URL of the Snowflake, and you need some good internet from where you can access Snowflake. So, as I told, mostly Snowflake is used for building data warehouse. So you can pull data from OLTP databases, enterprise applications, third-party tools, weblogs. So nowadays, anywhere we go, we have lot much of data. So the data is provided through mostly in our traditional database systems, all are OLTP databases. So we have SQL Server, Oracle, IBM DB2, so on, so on. So we can pull data from all OLTP databases or enterprise applications or weblogs using some ETL or ELT streaming, and then we can pull data into Snowflake. And in the Snowflake, the data is arranged on as I said, it is located on any of the cloud platforms, that is either Azure or AWS or Google platform. So we can do lot many analytic operations in the Snowflake. So that will be more helpful for marketing, finance, externals, and data science. And creating multiple environments in Snowflake is very easy. It is literally you can do everything on hands. Why Snowflake? Snowflake have many advantages. Snowflake is ease of use. That is, we can use Snowflake UI very easily. It has user friendly UI, so where you can log in and you can understand everything easily, and you can have built in. You can create databases, objects, tools, everything easily by just having a click, and you can write queries as well. Fully automated, Snowflake have a great advantage of fully automated features. So you will use virtual warehouses which will automatically scale up and scale down based on the requirement, and it will be suspended and resumed also automatically. Nothing needs to be done manually. Everything is automated. No setup is required to use Snowflake. You need not required to install any application or install any tools or anything, you can directly use the web UI. You just go to your URL and log in, and everything is ready for uses. Low maintenance. You need not to maintain anything. It's everything is maintained by the Snowflake team. The data is organized properly, and automatical. You will have fail safe, time travel, everything. And roles and user management is also maintained by the Snowflake. Security is provided, so low maintenance. You just need to create roles and assign roles to your all of the employees. You have a future of zero management, separation of storage and cloud. Yes, soon we're gonna see Snowflake architecture. In Snowflake, the storage and compute is completely independent. They are just logically related. You can pay for the storage how much you use, and you can pay the compute charges that you use. Scale up resources independently. As I said, if you are using some X size warehouse based on requirement, it will automatically grow up the number of the clusters that you have. You can automatically scale up easily. Like if you are using any warehouse of excess size, you can make it large, you can make it extra large, you can make it medium, attain it with a single click. Next, scale up resources independently. Yeah, and catch query results. So whenever you run a query, the results are cached. So next time the compute charges will be decreased. So if you are running a query for more than 1 time, the compute charges will be very less because it has a cache thing. Ease of concurrent access, pay as you go. So there is no any limitation for the data size of the Snowflake. So you can increase the size whenever you want, and you can decrease the size whenever you want. And it charges per the charges are very low. Performance due to columnar storage. Yes, in Snowflake, the data is not stored in row wise, it is stored in column format. So you have good performance compared to other cloud technologies when you are using Snowflake. Snowflake architecture is both flexible and efficient. It also widely considered as one of the most accessible data warehouses of cloud migration. And since Snowflake is a data platform as a service, there is no complicated hardware or IT infrastructure need to set up or manage. Because Snowflake uses a modern cloud infrastructure, it avoids many of the obstacles faced by the traditional data warehouses, and performance overall is improved. Snowflake offers nearly infinity scalable without with the concurrent workloads isolated on dedicated resources. This means that any user, team, application, or automated workload can run independently without impacting the system's overall performance. So if at all, if multiple people are working on the same time in Snowflake, as we have multiple multiple virtual warehouses, they can run concurrently queries, n number of queries, without using anyone, without disturbing one's process with others. Snowflake is entirely cloud based with no IT infrastructure needed or administrator needed. It offers built in performance optimization, data protection, secure data sharing, and delivers on premise of instant access and recovery for the database of any size. And one more advantage of Snowflake is that is low cost. Snowflake offers a range of pricing types, so you can it completely depends on the edition of the Snowflake which you use. The storage charge is very less. The Snowflake enables you to store unlimited amount of data and only pay for the storage and computing time that you use. So if at all, if you store if you are storing terabytes of data in your Snowflake, it will charge for only storage. Whenever you run the queries, it will charge for the computation. The compute and storage are completely independent in Snowflake. That is one of the best advantages and best reason to choose Snowflake. As I said, sharing and collaboration with Snowflake unique data sharing features. Your team can work collaboratively in real time across your enterprise, across the globe. So you can easily share data to your to other people in your organization very easily. And not only within the organization, you can share to the people who don't have a Snowflake account also, using a data sharing feature. Snowflake runs on multi-cluster shared data architecture, accessible on Amazon, AWS, Azure, and GCC. It is also proven as a cloud-based data warehouse platform for which industries, including the federal government, state and finance services, etc., they are very much using nowadays. Since these are all the best advantages of the Snowflake. Now let's go to the architecture of the Snowflake. Snowflake has a very unique architecture. It is a three-layered architecture. It has database storage, query processing, cloud services. It has three, as I said, it is a three-layered architecture. The platform includes storage, compute, and cloud services layer that are physically separated but logically integrated. This means that you can enable virtually all of the users and data workloads to access a single copy of your data without impacting the performance, without with everyone accessing the same version of your data. There is no data soils. Everyone has the same structure. Snowflake has a hybrid architecture, that is, it follows both shared disk and shared nothing architecture. Shared nothing architecture is distributed architecture where each node is independent and self-sufficient. In shared disk architecture, all the data is accessible from all cluster nodes. Snowflake combines these two architectures using a centralized data repository for persisted data that is accessible from all compute nodes. When processing queries, Snowflake uses massively parallel processing compute clusters, and each node is the cluster stored on a portion of the data set locally. With this hybrid model, what you can do means the data can, as I said, it is having shared disk and shared nothing architecture. Uh, the whatever the data that you are storing, the same data can be used by multiple persons and everything. Next, let's go to query processing. In query processing, the query processing layer handles a query execution. So Snowflake processes queries using virtual warehouses. Each virtual warehouse is a compute cluster made of multiple compute nodes, and each virtual warehouse is an independent compute cluster. As a result, each virtual warehouse operates independently and has no impact on the performance over the other virtual warehouses. So data is stored in the database layer, and what will perform the queries using using virtual warehouses on top of this data. And we have infrastructure manager, optimizer, metadata manager, security, authentication, and access control. All these features together, we consider it as a cloud service layer. So first, the data is stored in database and will perform the queries on top of in the top layer using virtual warehouses, and then the query optimizer and everything is present in cloud services layer. And also, Snowflake has a lot many connectors using which you can connect to Snowflake to pull and push data from the Snowflake. For example, you have JDBC connector, .NET connector, Python, Go, Java. From whatever, it has lot many connectors from which you can push data and pull data from the Snowflake. And here we have this Snowflake is completely present in virtual private network. So you can also, you'll have two types of snowflakes. One is public snow. I mean, you have the snowflake is available in public cloud and private cloud as well. Next, features of Snowflake. The best features of Snowflake is optimized table structure with micro-partitions and columnar storage, zero copy clones, data sharing, time travel. Let's see one of all these features one by one. First one, Optimize table structure with micro-partitions and columnar storage. Micro-partitions are small storage units which enables you very efficiently to to run your DML queries fastly and efficiently. Snowflake creates micro-partitions on its own based on data ingestion in table. A user cannot create micro-partition. So, micro-partition is nothing but a small amount of storage of data. So these micro-partitions are internally created by the Snowflake, and user cannot create them. The micro-partitions maintain high and low values of the columnars. Using columnar technique improves the efficient scanning of the individual columns. That is, whatever the data that is present in, let me explain with an example. So here we have a table where there is we have multiple columns called date, store, customer ID, and amount. So now in the first micro partition, it will store the minimum and maximum value of that micro partition. So for example, if you are considering this one, and for the amount column, it will store 4.99 as the minimum value and 40.25 as the maximum value. So this will help you in improving the performance. That is like when you are querying your data, it will search, instead of searching the whole table, it will just look into that micro partition. It will see the min and max value. Whatever the value you are searching, if it is present in between that, it will go to that micro partition. Else, it will skip. It will go for next one. In this way, your query is executed very fastly, and it improves, it optimizes your searching process. Next, we have zero copy clones. Snowflake creates a copy of your databases. There is a best feature in Snowflake called as cloning. What it will do means when you clone your database, it will create an image of your database, and from which you can use the data. And for this, you will have you will not be charging any amount of that is the storage fees. For example, if you have 50 terabyte of data in your database, and if you create 3 clones for the still you will have only 50, you will be charging for this 50 terabyte of storage only, even though you have 4 copies of data, and no additional cost is required. Clones inherit the role-based access control rules for their source. So if database A has access to some role 1, then all these database C, D, E will also be having access to particular role only. Data sharing. One of the biggest advantages of Snowflake is data sharing. So as I said, you can share the data from your account to all other accounts in your organization, or some other person who is having a Snowflake account, and also you can share data to the persons who do not have the Snowflake accounts as well. So there are different types of accounts, like provider, consumer, and reader accounts. Provider is nothing but the person who are giving a share, and consumer is nothing but the person or the Snowflake account which is getting the share. That means, for example, I am sharing a database here with some user, then that some user is considered as consumer, and you can create reader accounts. Reader account is nothing but if particular user Y do not have Snowflake account, but I need to share data from my side, from me to him, then I can make use of these reader accounts. I'll create a reader account and give it for him. There are two important sections like inbound and outbound shares. Inbound shares is nothing but the shares that you receive, and outbound shares are nothing but the shares that you provide to the other users. We can perform read-only operations on shared data. As this is only metadata viewing, consumers are not charged for using the shared data. And also, whatever the data you share to the other users, it is only a read-only copy. They cannot edit, or they cannot delete, they cannot modify anything. it's just a read-only copy, so they can import that data into their databases and then they can modify these things. Time travel. One more key feature of Snowflake is time traveling. So, if at all there is a table, unfortunately, you truncated that table or you deleted some of the rows or else some schemas are edited, then how can we fix it? In Snowflake, you can do a time travel. There are two types of time traveling. One is you can travel back to particular point of time, and one more option is you can travel back to particular query result. So, for example, I consider a table. I was inserting 10 records, and unfortunately, instead of update, I wrote a truncate statement. So my table got truncated. So I can travel back to my select statement and then I can bring back the data. Or else, if I know, like I executed this, I mean, I need the data before half an hour or 1 hour, I can do time travel. And I can do time travel, I can get the data, I can edit the data, and I can delete whatever you want. You can restore from the time. This is the best advantage of Snowflake. Let's go through Snowflake Web Interface. As I said, no tools need to be installed or downloaded for Snowflake. The Snowflake offers an web application. This is the Snowflake web application where you can use everything. So let me explain. This right corner is the username. Uh, Whenever you log in into the Snowflake, it will display your username, and then you will have the corresponding role that is assigned for you. This is the role that is, for example, here for user Sindhu, the role assigned is account admin. And this left side window is called as Object Explorer, where you can see the list of databases that we have. And when we click on this, expand this database, you will have schemas and the tables, views, everything is present in the schemas. And we have a lot many options here. This is databases session where you can go and see the number of databases that you have, and the shares will consider of as we discussed before, we can share data. All those shares can be visible here. And in Snowflake, only account admin can view these shares. No other role have access to these shares. And then we have data marketplace, warehouses. Warehouses are nothing but the compute units where you can create your compute nodes, that is nothing but virtual warehouses, and you can edit all of them. And then worksheets. This is the worksheet session where you can write your queries and you can run your queries. In history, you can see the query history, like whatever the queries you run, and you can see the results. And in the account, you can see all the details of your Snowflake, like how much storage is used, how much credits is used, who are all the users, what are all the roles that you have, everything. And here in Partner Connect, the Snowflake has n number of partner tools where you can directly go to them using this Partner Connect. Help you will be redirected to documentation where you can see or where you can request the help. And one of the new feature that Snowflake is added is Snowsight. This is an reporting tool using where you can consume the Snowflake data and build some visualizations. After writing some queries, you can just go and click run button and everything is executed. And as you see here, this is the role and this is the virtual warehouse that you're going to choose, and you can choose database. As I mentioned, the compute and storage are independent, so whatever the database you want you will choose, and whatever the virtual warehouse you want you can select that one. You can simply write the queries and run them. So the best advantage of having multiple virtual warehouses is, like, for example, if you consider any organization, you can create a warehouse for finance department, separate warehouse for marketing department and separate warehouse for developers, everything. So whoever and separate warehouse for analysts, separate warehouse for data science team, all the queries will run concurrently. No one will interrupt everyone, and you will have the same database for all these persons. So data is present in one single database, but queries are executed and run independently, so no one will disturb the others executions. This is one of the best advantages of Snowflake interface. Thank you.